We're in Red Rock Canyon at the White Rock Mountain Trailhead, one of the two trailheads. And the sun is just beginning to touch the tips of all the mountains around us. So let's take a look at what we can see here. Okay, let's just take a 360-degree view. Here is El Padre Mountain in the sunrise. And there's El Bastardo. Then we move around. And here's White Rock Mountain. Today we're going to circle White Rock Mountain. And continuing around. There's Bridge Mountain. Actually, this is Bridge Mountain. And there's Rainbow Mountain. Mount Wilson. Now we're looking into the sunrise. Here are the Calico Hills. Turtlehead Peak, just being touched by the new sun. And let's take one more circuit here. Silently just look at everything. And we're back at White Rock Mountain. We're going to take the 5-mile circuit around White Rock Mountain. So let's go ahead and begin. Okay, there are two parking areas at White Rock Mountain at this trailhead. And there's a lower one and an upper one. We are going toward the upper parking area because my car, the Beast, does not like rough roads like this. There's about, I don't know, a quarter mile between the two parking areas. And there's a 5-mile loop that circles White Rock Mountain. So we're going to circle behind White Rock Mountain and end up at Willow Spring area. It is the first Friday in January. Temperature 35 degrees. So yeah, we want to keep moving. There you see the surroundings in the rising sun. Okay, let's head up to that upper parking area. Just to give you an idea of how cold it is, here's a little puddle in the road. You can see the ice all around it. We're now entering or approaching the upper parking area. And this is where the White Rock Mountain Loop begins. It also, there's another starting point over at the Willow Spring area. We'll see that later. That's on the opposite side of White Rock Mountain. Okay, here we are at the upper parking area, and let's take a look at the signage here. This shows all the trailheads and the signage. By the way, if you need a restroom, you need to be at the upper parking area, not the lower parking area. Okay, this is where we are going to eventually emerge after completing the loop. And a lot of people start here. As you can see, this is the main signage for the White Rock Mountain Willow Spring Trail. There you have it. Wow. The whole view changes during the rising sun. It's pretty remarkable. Look at the colors all around us. Okay, we're actually going to start on the other side here. We're going to take the loop counterclockwise. This, by the way, makes a great running course or walking, either way. Nice 5-mile loop. And here is the signage. There's also a Keystone Thrust trail. The mountains we've been looking at here. El Padre on the right, El Bastardo on the left. These are part of the Keystone Thrust. And there's a trail that'll take you to the base of those mountains. And we have a Las Vegas area trails page on the Keystone Thrust and video. We've been at the top, the bottom, everywhere around the Keystone Thrust. Okay, the trail quickly reaches a wash. And by the way, this wash is the main wash that if you took it and just followed this wash, you'd end up right in that below the saddle between El Padre on the left, right, El Padre on the right, and El Bastardo on the left. And we video documented standing in that saddle on the video that is the Kyle Canyon Grand Crossing northern part. Okay, let's descend into this wash. We're going to cross it and then ascend the trail on the other side and begin to circle around in a counterclockwise fashion. We'll be circling around White Rock Mountain. Here we go. If this isn't a southwestern U.S. landscape, I don't know what is. So we've crossed the wash, which is below us, and we're continuing up the trail here. First demarcation in the trail. This stairway leads to the Keystone Thrust trail, and we're gonna go straight ahead for the White Rock Mountain Loop. Okay, now we're descending back into that same wash that we saw earlier. Trail is well marked, so you're not going to get lost on this circuit. Anyway, question would be, well, why not just take the wash up to this point? And the answer is that there are some huge boulders below us in the wash, and yes, you can do it. And the reason I know there's boulders is that I've done that before. The trail is much more streamlined and easygoing. If you like bouldering or just crossing over boulders, climbing and descending, then yeah, take the wash. Enjoy it, knock yourself out. But today we're sticking to the trail, and as you can see, we're approaching the east side of White Rock Mountain. We're going to circle around at that point, so let's continue on. By the way, you can see the landscape already changing. There's a lot more water up here. There's La Madre Springs not too far from where we're standing, and these washes represent some underground water actually that feeds these trees. But look at the difference in the plants in this area. It's not even a mile from where we began in the barren area. And there's El Bastardo and El Padre. Yes, I complain about the 35-degree weather here, but before I was in this area, I was in Connecticut, and I remember that last winter I was in Connecticut, the temperature did not go above 16 degrees for 2 months. So if you're in the Northeast United States, you probably think I'm a whiner, and I'm actually in a heat wave at 35 degrees. Rounding the eastern side of White Rock Mountain. Let's look around. And we're looking straight down into the Las Vegas Valley now. Some of the foothills of White Rock Mountain. Then you can see the Keystone Thrust in the snow ahead of us. And some of that Jurassic red rock. These are frozen sand dunes from the Jurassic era. The reds are from iron leaching up from the soil. And that's where you get the red and the calico look in these dunes. Continuing to wind around this trail and upward. Eventually we're going to begin descending, and we'll descend to meet up with the Madre Springs Trail, and that trail I've fully documented by video. By the way, the reason I'm doing this is actually a redo, this White Rock Mountain video, because last time I was here I got caught in a rainstorm, and it was fine for me, but the camera didn't like it. The camera quit about halfway through. So this will be a fully documented under the blue sky video. Turtlehead Peak. And you can see the Keystone Thrust ahead of us. And actually that area between the two mountains, that's actually the Madre Springs Canyon. And you head up that canyon, you can actually get to the summit of the Keystone Thrust, and then just traverse the whole summit area, which is really fun. Tremendous views the whole way. You are on a mountaintop for that entire experience. You're traversing these cliffs right on the edge, and it's actually very easy going up there. And again, the entrance is that canyon area right there. Go right up Madre Springs to summit the Keystone Thrust. And I've got a video description on that whole area. Here's more of that Jurassic frozen sand dune appearing. Okay, let's continue. Okay, now we're approaching the north side of White Rock Mountain. There's White Rock Mountain. And the rising sun. Here are the Keystone Thrust cliffs. Below us is the canyon that leads to Madre Springs. And there's the passageway right between these two high points. And continuing around, you see definitely huge difference in the landscape. And we're probably between 1 and 2 miles on this trail so far. What a difference from the barren landscape where we began. And now for the first time, here's the summit area of White Rock Mountain from this perspective on the north side. Snow-capped at this point. There's been a lot of rain, at least a lot for the Las Vegas area. I'm also from Portland, Oregon, and a lot of people just stay in during rainy times here in the Las Vegas area because totally not used to the rain. In Oregon, what we experienced the last few days would have not even been a blip. So it's all a matter of perspective, where you are from, what you're used to. But regardless, no matter where you're from, this area is truly unique and beautiful. Grand view opening up below us and all around us. We're actually looking at 3 amazing wilderness areas. When you're looking at White Rock Mountain, you're looking at Red Rock Canyon National Conservation Area. When you look beyond to, well, it's over the mountains, the mountains that we saw earlier in the videos, Bridge Mountain, we'll come around and see those again. Rainbow Mountain, Mount Wilson. That's the Rainbow Mountains Wilderness. And then looking up at the area of the Keystone Thrust, you're looking at the La Madre Mountains Wilderness. There's a shot of El Bastardo. Let's zoom in. One of the high points in the La Madre Mountains Wilderness, along with El Padre Mountain and La Madre Mountain. So you can see with the changing light and the area that we're in, it's like we're on a whole different planet than where we started. Here's the north side of White Rock Mountain, just before the sun rises. You can see the sun, the rising sun, beginning to touch the very tips of this area. Huge expanse here. a little more about topping the Keystone Thrust. If you go up the Madre Springs area and continue to wind upward, you will top the Keystone Thrust right at this point, from which you can then begin to traverse the upper area there, the upper edge of those cliffs. Okay, now we're approaching the area that is watered by the springs that come down from the Keystone Thrust cliff area, La Madre Springs, and a few others. And you can see the plant life around us dramatically has changed. Another look at these three great wilderness areas. There's White Rock Mountain in Red Rock Canyon. And there we see the Rainbow Mountains beginning to emerge. Rainbow Mountain Wilderness. And the snow-capped mountains in the Keystone Thrust. That's the Madre Mountains Wilderness. And there is the area where you can summit the Keystone Thrust right above La Madre Springs. Once you're on that Keystone Thrust on the upper cliffs, it's a fairly easy walk along the edge of the cliffs with an awesome view. And back to White Rock Mountain. And this is definitely the wildest section of the loop. North and western, or northeast, I should say. We're going to emerge soon onto a larger trail that's used as a maintenance road for La Madre Springs. Okay, we just emerged from this trail. This is the loop trail. And now we meet up with the La Madre Springs Trail. Much wider. Maintenance access and trail. And now we're heading down to the Willow Spring area. Here we go. Soon we will be emerging onto Rocky Gap Road, and then we take that down to Willow Spring. Northwest corner. On the White Rock Mountain Loop. And here we have the entrance sign for the La Madre Mountains Wilderness. That's the wilderness area we have been in as we circled around the northwest side of White Rock Mountain. Here's Rocky Gap Road, and I've definitely documented that on video, and yes, it's a four-wheel drive road. Rocky Gap is well named. And then you can see the entrance sign for the Rainbow Mountain Wilderness. So as I mentioned, three great wilderness areas, and then as we head down Rocky Gap Road, between those two high points, we enter Red Rock Canyon. In fact, I think we're entering it at this point. Okay, we're on Rocky Gap Road. We're looking up the road toward the Keystone Thrust, La Madre Mountains area. And now here's the east side of White Rock Mountain. Looking down Rocky Gap Road now toward Willow Spring. We'll be there soon. And then a look over at the Rainbow Mountains in the rising sun. Back to Rocky Gap Road. Here right on Rocky Gap Road is a cooking pit, roasting pit used by Native Americans. And you can see the rocks in a kind of donut shape here on the ground. This is where the cooking happened. They found rabbit bones and bighorn sheep bones in these pits. And the Native Americans lived a nomadic existence. And you can imagine temperatures in this area in the summer can exceed 110 degrees. But up in the mountains, the Madre Mountains, straight ahead, you'd be looking at about 70 to 80 degrees up there. Maybe 80 to 90. I've been up there in the summer. And so if you're living a nomadic existence, you might be in this area, January, winter, and the high temperature today, right where we're standing, is going to be around 60 degrees. And while the cooking was happening up here, there were people drawing designs on the rocks below, petroglyphs. And there's actually a place here that's named Petroglyph Wall. And I've got a page for that on Las Vegas area trails. Closing in on the Willow Spring picnic area on this side of White Rock Mountain. Another look at the mountain. We'll get a shot of some of the informational signs. We're now in the Willow Spring picnic area. Some more interpretive signs. Okay, now the question is, where do we reconnect with the White Rock Mountain Loop Trail? And I'm thinking we're heading in the right direction. Let's go ahead and make that connection. As you can see, there is the Willow Spring parking area, picnic area. We're in the lower part of Willow Spring picnic area, following a kind of pathway here. In fact, let's just go this way. See what we can see over here. Now there's nothing that said continuation of the White Rock Mountain Loop. Here's an interpretive sign. Let's take a look at this. Nope, that's not what we're looking for. So let's just keep wandering around here. Another interpretive sign, the agave roasting pits. Here we are, Willow Spring Loop. That's not saying White Rock Mountain Loop, but let's continue on this, see where it leads. One great thing about the White Rock Mountain Loop is it's got a loop around White Rock Mountain, which is right there. So this is likely heading in the direction, and then there should be a left turn around the base of White Rock Mountain, and we'll be back on the White Rock Mountain Loop. You can already see a huge difference in the plant life here. Look at this, much more barren. Now we're emerging more into that southwestern desert look. It's amazing how Red Rock Canyon has so many different zones. So unique. You didn't see any of this on the far side of White Rock Mountain. Okay, I'm going to imagine this is what we're looking for. White Rock, 2 miles. And that looks like that would lead to the trailhead where we started. So we're leaving the Willow Spring loop here. And we're reconnecting with the White Rock Mountain loop, we think. We'll know when we're done. Just one last look at this area. So beautiful. There you see the Rainbow Mountains. Okay, let's take this White Rock trail, 2 miles, difficult. Well, so far, looks like we are on the White Rock Mountain Loop, even though we have not seen a sign that says so. It just says White Rock. So watch for that sign when you round this side of White Rock Mountain. And as far as difficulty level, I would say the difficulty might be in the ascent and descent along this trail so far, and not on the trail itself, because the trail is very nice. See a helicopter coming in the distance. Pretty interesting. I saw such a helicopter hovering over Bridge Mountain at one time. This may be that same helicopter. And my question then was, why is he hovering over Bridge Mountain? Now, Bridge Mountain is a popular climbing area, and I was seeing clouds of snow rise under the rotor blades, and having thought about that since that time, I think what he was actually doing is de-icing Bridge Mountain and the climbing routes, so that people on those steep cliffs with these huge drop-offs would have more of a chance of maintaining their stability. And it's usually after a snow, big snow yesterday, so that could have been the de-icing helicopter, who knows. And now we're looking down at the Red Rock Canyon Scenic Loop, Rainbow Mountain. Speaking of Bridge Mountain, there is Bridge Mountain. You see the snow on the cliffs and also the sheer drop-offs up there. This area is Buffalo Wall area. And we'll check that out in the future from above. I don't think I'm going to climb from below. A lot of cliff action at the base of these mountains. Back to White Rock Mountain. We're continuing to circle it, so yeah, I'm going to say we are on the White Rock Mountain Loop. So there's nothing from Willow Spring that actually says White Rock Mountain Loop. It just says White Rock. So that's your only clue when you hit Willow Spring and you're wanting to round the loop. And you would start on the Willow Spring Loop, and then when you see that little sign, White Rock, That's the White Rock Mountain Loop. That little parking area below is below the Willow Spring parking area and picnic area. This is for Lost Creek, and there's some cool trails there. And soon we'll have some pages on Las Vegas area trails from the Willow Spring and the Lost Creek area. In the meantime, here we are, emerging to another complete view. And what we're seeing here, earlier in the morning, we saw Turtlehead Peak and the Calico Hills. They were a bit in the shadows due to the positioning of the sun. But now, here's that whole area brilliantly lit up. So let's take a look at it a little closer. You'll remember El Padre Mountain? And here's Turtlehead Peak. And there's a ridge to the left. I call it Turtlehead Ridge. Anyway, you can take that up to near the base of El Padre Mountain. And we've done that before. We have videos on that. Then we're looking over at the Calico Hills. There they are in the sunlight. And then over this direction, we're looking down Red Rock Canyon and over to Blue Diamond Mountain. And within the next couple months, I'm hoping to explore Blue Diamond Mountain. There are some really cool trails there, and I understand that there are some caves. So we'll explore that area and then back looking at the Rainbow Mountains. La Madre Mountains, Keystone Thrust in the snow, White Rock Mountain. Okay, let's continue along. And I've got to say, this must be the White Rock Mountain Loop Trail, because I don't know where else you'd put a trail that looped around the mountain. And our starting point, you might see some glistening vehicles. We started down in that area and we're heading toward it. So continuing along the White Rock Mountain Loop. Okay, here's a little branch trail, and it looks like this is part of the Grand Circle. Now let me explain the Grand Circle. The Grand Circle actually circles the circumference of Red Rock Canyon, and we'll take that at some point. But it takes in the entire circumference of the canyon. That's why they call it the Grand Circle. Now, I always have a problem with, is it Willow Spring or Willow Springs? And this really helps me, because I'm not the only one that has a problem with that. Here you see a sign that says Willow Springs, and right behind it, there's a sign that says Willow Spring. So I'm not the only one that wonders if it is it Willow Springs or Willow Spring. If you mix that up, don't worry. You're in good company. Onward. Continuing to circle White Rock Mountain. And as I mentioned, the trail, which is actually a very good trail, was labeled difficult. And I think I found out why. We need to cross this area below. So that's quite a little canyon to cross, and then our goal is the parking area where we started. And then below us, Red Rock Scenic Drive. There's a high point on the drive that has a great viewpoint, but gotta say, it does not beat the view that you see from this side of White Rock Mountain. So, yeah, this White Rock Mountain Loop Trail is pretty awesome. Another shot of Bridge Mountain. See the cliffs there. And I know that one of these two features is called Buffalo Wall. Now, it could be this one. It could be this one. We'll find out when we're looking down from the summit of Buffalo Wall in the not too distant future. But for now, let's go ahead and cross this canyon area. Quick FYI, when you're on the Red Rock Canyon side of White Rock Mountain over there, the White Rock Mountain Loop is called the Grand Circle. So you won't see anything that says White Rock Mountain Loop on this side. There is on the other side of White Rock Mountain. But on this side, it's called the Grand Circle. So just follow those signs. Okay, what have we here? Yeah, Grand Circle Loop, as I said. And the reason for that is that it is part of the Grand Circle Loop, and I guess they don't want to confuse people that are on the Grand Circle. White Rock Mountain Summit. continuing around White Rock Mountain, and a lot of these trails look like old roads. You can see the double tire tracks here of what may have been an old road at one time. Okay, we are approaching our starting point. There's the upper parking area. I was hoping this trail would lead us to the lower parking area, but that's just fine. But another discovery. On these signs here, there's one that says White Rock Spring. And since it's only 0.05 miles, easy, let's go ahead and go down to White Rock Spring. See what it looks like down there. Okay, heading down to White Rock Spring. Few stairs here. Nice rock. Oh, look at this. It actually is a spring with water in it. Look at that. And you can see there, little water pipe. Amazing what water will do to the desert. Let's explore a little more. See what is around this area. Entirely different climate zone. Just for the little ways where the spring is. And then here we are at the base of White Rock Mountain. So there you have it. White Rock Spring. A little added extra on this loop. Well, we took our time. We didn't make any land speed records, but here we are now, back at our original parking area and back at the beast. And now that the lighting favors the Turtlehead Peak area, Calico Hills, it's a good time to capture those. And then down to Blue Diamond Mountain and those brilliant rainbow mountains that we saw this morning. They're kind of shaded. The sun's behind them.